Hey guys, just thought I'd do a YouTube live today and just for some inspiration. I know some days it's raining here, so I just needed a bit of inspiration today. So we're going into the weekend, and yeah, it's good to channel your inner rock star and kickstart your day with some electrifying inspiration and wisdom to help you crush all your tasks and goal stakes. You could have a big task list and a lot of goals you want to hit today. So here's just some things to think about in the back of your mind to drive you forward. So embrace the power of music. Remember that what we do is magical. We have the unique ability to share the gift of music and ignite a lifelong passion in our students. Just like my teacher did for me, just like the amazing musicians that we forget about inspired us to want to actually play in the first place. That could be us for other people as we play. We could be inspiring them to then have a lifelong passion. When we all know the musical benefits for people, mental health, is learning a language, cognitive ability, social ability, etc., etc., etc. There's so much power in there. Every lesson we teach is a chance to inspire and create a future guitar legend. So the next student that comes along could be the one that practices every day and inspires the world. Could be the next Ed Sheeran or whatever. So stay curious. In the world of music, there's always something new to learn and explore. Sometimes I get to a point where I'm teaching and I think, oh, I kind of know everything. But it's just such a silly thought to have because there's always something to learn from someone else. Sometimes a student will come in, they would have been learning for like 6 months, and I'll learn something new from them. Just for something they've said, something will click in my head, or I'll have to reteach something and I'll have to relearn it and revise and try and attack it from a different angle so that they understand. So having that kind of childlike curiosity where it's like, even if you've gone through something before, just go over it again and see if you can learn something new. So keep the curiosity alive and let it guide you towards fresh techniques, genres, and teaching methods. And your enthusiasm isn't contagious. So when you really get into something and you learn it, you attack it, and you really, digest it, and then you share it with someone else, your enthusiasm will come through. If you kind of just just kind of gloss over something, it's hard to get excited about it. So number 3, set clear goals. Define your objectives for the day, whether it's mastering that tricky chord progression, refining your teaching materials, or simply making every student's day a little brighter. Setting goals will keep you focused. So what I try and do is I try and do like a monthly plan, a weekly plan, and a daily plan. Okay, I don't always manage to do it, but the days that I do, and especially the night before, looking at the plan that I've set out for myself to reach my goals, to add this many students, to build this course or this portal, whatever it is, or help this person. Then if I set these goals and put them into 1 hour slots, half an hour slots, 15-minute slots, whatever it is, because you can be doing really well in one element of your life, but then forget about the other side. So it's very easy to lose track of the whole spectrum. So keeping your house tidy, making sure your clothes are washed, making sure you're smart for your lessons. Well, I'm wearing a hoodie today, but making sure that everything's, you've got a new student, that all the materials are ready, all the books are ready. There's all these little things that happen. It's like chasing that lead, make sure things don't slip through the cracks. Very difficult to keep track of everything. So having that rough plan of what you want to achieve and not overdoing it for that day. Sometimes I just plan too many things in the day, and I just get over ambitious, and I think, well, it's okay if I don't hit all the goals. But in reality, if I just ordered them in importance, like what's the most important thing, put that as an A, second most important, put that as a B, and then go through it like that. And if you've got a big task, just say, I'm going to do one big task. And if I can't finish it that day, I will carry it on to the next day. So set your clear goals. Practice what you preach. Be a role model for your students. Show them that Continuous improvement and practice are the keys to mastery. Lead by example and your students will follow suit. So what I've found is when I don't practice as much as I would like to, if I don't practice for that half an hour at least, or an hour at least a day on my own terms, because I feel like when I'm teaching, I'm kind of practicing with them because I'm having to teach, having to verbalize, having to play a wide variety of songs, having to read tab on the fly, do a compliment, doing duets. So there's a lot of practicing in the teaching element. So I kind of get a fix there, but doing that extra hour for your own, like really drilling to improve yourself, makes a huge difference because new things will pop up, new ideas, new songs that you can really like pass on to the students. And, you know, if you really get good at something, you could even just say, I'm going to do a workshop, I'm going to do a masterclass, a 1 hour, 2 hour thing, training, which you could then give to your students for free, but you could also package it up and sell it on. So it's like a double, or you could have it as a really long YouTube video where, you know, people get a lot of value. You could get a lot of watch time off that. Okay, practice what you preach. Don't fear mistakes. In music, as in life, mistakes are stepping stones to greatness. Encourage your students to embrace them as valuable lessons. Remember when the most iconic guitarists had their share of wrong notes on their journey to stardom. So yeah, what a lot of students find is that when they always feel like they're performing. So it's like if they make a mistake, sometimes they just cringe and they stop. They'll be playing a song and then they'll just stop. But I always just tell them, I watched some TED Talk ages ago and it was talking about being in learning mode, practice mode, and performance mode. And he was making the point that after school, after college, after university, whatever, when you go into the real world, you kind of switch off the kind of learning practice mode and you always feel like you're in performance mode. But this can happen at a very early age as well. So I think he was more talking about the workplace, how you have to keep that kind of learning practice mode part of you, and not just always feel like you're in performance mode. And I thought that was really interesting. So sometimes people will be playing and they'll cringe and they'll stop. And I'll just say, even if you make a mistake, this is a safe place. This is a practice zone. You're not performing right now. We're not in front of a live audience. Don't worry if you make a mistake. No one's judging you. And some people are just slightly more insecure. So hearing that is fine. And for your own business, if you're scared about making mistakes, then you have to try and push through that. Try a new advert, try a new video, try a new thing in your business. Start a newsletter, start a leaderboard chart, you know, something different that you might not be doing. And if it fails, it fails. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's okay. People are so busy with their lives, they won't notice. It'll be more just you who notices. So, or try a new teaching technique, a new format, a new whatever, if you feel that's what needs to happen. Okay. Spread positivity. So your enthusiasm and support can make a huge difference in your students' lives. Be the uplifting force that encourages them to push their limits and reach for the stars. Okay, I mean, so doing that. So David Hart, who runs G4 Guitar, who I was a franchise owner for a good 4 or 5 years. As in I had franchised. So he ran a franchise and I opted into that for many years. But one thing he said was, well, 2 great things. He said a million great things, but 2 things that for this point, spread positivity for your students. There's a few things I want to say. So I'm getting got too many thoughts going on all at the same time. But number 1, just keeping fit, keeping focused, eating well, sleeping well. These all make a difference. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but just getting like a good amount of sleep. Don't go to bed at 4 a.m. Don't go out drinking the night before you're teaching. Or don't have too many so that you're all groggy and like you're not with it. You know, you want to be, ideally, you want to be sharp, you want to be on it, you want to be full of life and energy. And so 2 things that he said David Hart that were really stood out to me was, before you've got any students coming in, let's just say you start at 4 o'clock and you're teaching till 8, as an example, do start practicing yourself at 3 o'clock, get into like a gig mode, and then every lesson treat it as a mini gig where you're performing. I know I was talking about practicing and performing. Sometimes you will just have to be in practice mode, but if you're in performance mode, you can really spread some positivity. If you're really fired up and pumped because you just did an hour session on the guitar and you've really overcome, you've really pushed through that tricky bar, that tricky flick, that tricky lick, riff, whatever it is you were trying to practice, or you've really nailed that scale, you've increased the speed, that positivity and that enthusiasm and that passion will overflow into the students. But if, like, 1 minute before you slam the computer down, you just jump over to your chair, you could easily just be very flat. Something might have just happened. You might have just had a message. Someone's quit. Someone can't make it. This has happened, or that has happened, or someone's died, or I don't know, just anything can, okay, that's a bit too extreme, but you know what I'm trying to say. So just doing that 1 hour practice just gets you fired up, and that positivity will spread onto your students. Okay, enjoy the journey. The path to becoming a great guitar teacher is as rewarding as reaching the destination. Relish every moment and remember that your passion is your compass. So again, if you're super passionate about jazz or about blues or whatever, then just practice so much that it overflows into your students playing. Make that the whole focus. Okay, some students don't necessarily want to learn blues, but I think that you could easily make courses, YouTube channels, all these other things where you can get that passion across. And if you've got a general guitar school where it's like it is teacher led and you're teaching from a book or whatever it is, and they're not really into blues, that's fine. You could do specialist workshops, you could do specialist courses, YouTube videos, other specialist things where it's like, or you can incorporate blues into your teaching. But yeah, I think that's everything I want to say. Just enjoy the journey. Kind of feel like a long process. I remember when I first started teaching, it was great. I really enjoyed it, but I definitely wasn't a good teacher when I first started. I was really trial and error, not having a clear format, not having a clear success path, not understanding the level the student was at straight away. I just kind of printed something out, like the pentatonic scale, and I'll just start with that. And they'll be like, okay, how do you hold the pick? What's the guitar? And, what's the basics? So, yeah, each year and each lesson you get better. And if you keep practicing, you can do the trial and error face-to-face. You can speak to other teachers. You can get teacher training from various forms. You could just go on YouTube and find some other guitar teachers who are talking about their lessons, about the business, blah, blah, blah. And that can really help you enjoy the journey, knowing where you are and where you're trying to get to. And as I just mentioned, connect with fellow teachers, reach out to your fellow guitar educators for support, inspiration, and collaboration. Sharing your experiences and knowledge can be mutually beneficial. So feel free to join our guitar school group. It's called How to Build Your Guitar School. Or how to grow your guitar school. So you can feel free to join that, or there's loads of other teacher groups which have great support, and you can just see what issues people are having, what things are working well. You could also just call around your neighborhood, because to be honest, everywhere I go, I always just type in guitar teach just to see if there's a few around, and there's always like 3 or 4 in like a radius of 10 miles. There's always at least 3 or 4 that I've found, unless it's really, really secluded area. But any slightly built up area, there's guitar teachers everywhere. So if you're in a particular location, just give the locals a call and just connect with them and just say, so for me personally, there's a town just 10, 15 minutes away, but I get some people from there, and sometimes they don't want to travel because after school time, there's a lot of traffic. So they they didn't want to travel anymore because they would get stuck on a bridge. There was some road works, and it would take them like 45 minutes to drive a 10-minute journey. So so I just passed them on to the Walton-on-Thames, which is the place near me. I just passed them on to that guy and just said, would you like a couple of students? And he was over the moon. So that's the power of it. And also guitar shops, things like that. Other musician teachers, music teachers, drummers, singers, pianists. The amount of people who come in and who say, oh, do you know a piano teacher? Do you know a singing teacher? Do you know a drum teacher? Oh, they want to do this instrument. So if you know some people, connect with them. And who knows, you could do like a half-term boot camp, a summer boot camp with other musicians where you teach for an hour, they teach for an hour. And once you've got 4 or 5 hours of teachers going through different instruments, you can do band workshops, blah, blah, blah. There's so many opportunities that could be had to connect, bring a community together. That's really powerful. Okay, dream big. Don't just teach your students how to play the guitar, inspire them to dream big and follow their musical aspirations. Who knows, you might be nurturing the next guitar legend. So that's the amazing thing, is that you could really be cultivating someone who's going to inspire other people in the future. So I've got a picture of Carlos Santana on my wall. And when I started, he was a big, big drive and inspiration for me. But imagine who inspired him to play guitar, and his guitar teacher, if he had one. I'm sure he did. That person and the musicians before him inspired him to start playing. And then he went on to Woodstock, and then he went on to become one of the biggest legends in guitar history, with so many hit albums, hit singles, just from playing guitar, just from that 6 strings on a piece of wood going widdly widdly. That's the power of it. So let's rock today with a contagious enthusiasm that leaves a lasting impact on our students and an indomitable spirit to conquer our goals. Share your own pearls of wisdom, or tell us how you plan to inspire your students today. Keep music alive and keep on strumming. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I will check you in the next one. Take care. Bye.